name is Raul Herrera. I was a seaman on July 15th, 1967, when we captured a North Vietnamese enemy ship. It was codenamed Skunk Alpha. This particular vessel had made its way south from North Vietnam and made an attempt to infiltrate into the I-4 area in a region known for its heavy concentration of North Vietnamese enemy forces and Viet Cong as well. The area was in Quang Ngai province, south of Chu Lai, approximately 60 miles, 30 to 60 miles. I don't know exactly the length, the distance rather. But as they made their attempt to come in one night, late afternoon as a matter of fact, a market plane, Operation Market Time, that was part of what I was involved in. It was referred to as Task Force 115, Operation Market Time. Our job was to patrol the coastline of South Vietnam, 1,200 miles of coastline, and prevent enemy infiltration, especially the steel hull vessel types, which carried more cargo. And a market time aircraft out of Saigon, I believe, was about to end its tour, its patrol time on station. And one of the crewmen spotted what looked like to be a craft down below, and it was heading west towards the coast. And that was strange because there was no port. And so they swung around and flew over the ship, and it was flying no flags. And there was no port in sight. The area that it was attempting to come in, as I mentioned, was Quang Ngai province. And an area in Quang Ngai province is a peninsula called Mui Batanga. And that's also referred to as Cape Batanga, the Batangan Peninsula. And when the plane went down, buzzed it, circled back around a number of times, taking pictures. Then it went back up to the clouds and took off. Of course, the pilot radioed Saigon Control, Cam Bay rather, and they were able to then assign the USS Wilhoit, a destroyer, to go and intercept that particular vessel, because once it was discovered, it went dead in the water while the aircraft was circling and taking pictures. The trawler turned back around and went back out to sea. And so the Wilhoit, from wherever it was in position, intercepted it at a certain point, certain distance away from the coastline of Vietnam. The trawler again went dead in the water, and the destroyer circled it a number of times, taking photographs. They had fishing nets strewn on top of the cargo that apparently was sort of like camouflage, trying to make believe that they were a trawler, that they were a fishing trawler, and that's what they were doing. And they had no flag, they were flying no flag still. So again, the radar picket ship circled it, took pictures, went back towards the coast of Vietnam. And once it went beyond the horizon and eye contact from this enemy ship, the Wilhoit circled back around and shadowed this enemy ship all the way to the Paracel Islands, and where it anchored. The enemy ship anchored for a couple of days. And therefore, I suspect that communication with North Vietnam eventually came to them, and they said, go back and make another attempt. And it happens, and of course, I wasn't aware of this, nor was my crew, and I believe my boat officer, Mr. Bergen, was not aware of it. I don't know. Perhaps I have a feeling that in their level of communication with intel folks, we knew that the enemy was trying to infiltrate, but we didn't know for sure if we were advised that this was an enemy attempting to infiltrate. We had a particular, that morning, we prepared like we always did when it was our turn for patrol. Our boat was PCF 79, and of course PCF stands for Patrol Craft Fast, a 50-foot aluminum hull vessel with 250 caliber machine guns in the gun tub above the pilot house, single 50 caliber machine gun mounted on top of an 81 millimeter mortar on the fantail, and of course various sorts of armament as well. We went out on patrol. We exchanged patrol areas with the vessel that was out on station, and later on in the day we received a coded message that my boat officer had to decode with special equipment that he had, and it told us that there was an enemy ship heading our way. And the more messages we started receiving, the more, and we got position reports and we started tracking it. My job as a radio radarman was to plot the course of different occasions, different contacts, and we noticed that it was starting to come into our patrol area. At least that's the general direction it was taking. And as we got closer into nightfall, and it was apparent that we were going to have a confrontation with this enemy ship, Mr. Bergen got us all on the after deck and after fantail and discussed the possibility of something happening to himself, to any one of us, and he said if I go down, then it's a boatswain in charge, and it goes on down the line. But we were not to stop the engagement. If any of us would take over like we were trained, if the gunner falls, then somebody gets into the gun tub and takes after. If somebody falls on the mortar, somebody takes over his position, as we were trained to do.